In this video, I'm going to show you my 3-step approach on how I research and then build startup ideas. For step number 1, we're going to be using Grok, and it's specifically its deep search functionality. It allows you to do some deep search, deep research all over the internet to identify the best trends when it comes to startup ideas. We're going to do that, and we're going to do some deep research around a specific idea in order to identify what we want to build out. We're then going to move on to step 2, which is Dart. This is an AI project management tool that allows us to take in all that information and break it down into a task-by-task basis. We're literally going to depend on AI to be our project manager here. And then finally, we're going to take each of those tasks and we're going to put it straight into, or we're going to place it straight into Lovable, which is a no-code AI builder. And Lovable is going to be our coder, our AI coder, that's going to build out our software. So if you've never coded before in your life, if you've never managed projects before in your life, and you want to build out software, this is definitely the place to be. We're going to do it in these 3 steps. Let's get straight into it. Alrighty, so step number 1 is to go to Grok, and here we're going to toggle on the deep search functionality. The aim here is to identify the startup idea, and we're going to use AI in order to identify that. So we're going to say something along the lines of, I want to build out an AI SaaS, software as a service, and I want to do it in terms of, I want to build out the proof of concept in about an hour or so. So I want you to give me some trending data using the internet and through deep research on what are some ideas I could potentially build out. Okay, cool. So we've got that there. Deep search is toggled on. Let's go. Now, obviously Grok is going to go through its deep search or deep research stage where it's going to identify things. You can see there it's searching for trending AI SaaS ideas 2025. It's going into a whole bunch of different websites to identify different aspects, and then it's going to go into a much deeper dive on each of those. So we're going to jump to the end of this once it's finished its processing, and then we can look at the results. Alrighty, cool. So in 1:22 seconds, we've completed the deep research component, and you can see all this information over here. Now, trending AI SaaS ideas is an AI-powered meeting summarization tool. Number 2 is an AI content generation platform. Number 3 is an AI chatbot for customer support, which is very big. 4th one is going to be AI personal finance tracker. That could be an idea. 5th is AI web scraper with NLP or natural language processing. So we've got those main 5 ideas, which are down here. The feasibility, I think a cool idea would be to go with the personal finance tracker. Something that we're going to basically build out for maybe young professionals who are starting work, want to kind of budget, maybe want to track their finances and break that down. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, I like the idea to build out a personal finance tracker application and maybe a budgeting aspect added onto that. I'm now going to be placing information into Dart, which is an AI project management tool. So I would like you to do some deep research on this idea so I can take that information and place it straight into Dart AI. Cool, that's sorted. We're going to run that, and then we're going to let Grok go and do some further deep research on the specific idea that we were talking about or that we've chosen. In the meantime, I'm going to get Dart up and running. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to spaces on Dart. Once you've signed up, it's quick and easy to sign up. And what we're using from a Dart specific aspect in terms of capabilities is all free. So what you want to do is you want to create a space. This is like creating a project. So our project here is going to be called Finance App, right? That's what we're going to be doing. That's our finance application. Once we've done that, we are good to go. So our finance app is over there and we've got tasks. Then we can come to tasks over here and we could do it the old-fashioned way. We could add a new task and we could add the title, add the description. And from a project management standpoint, that is literally what we do normally. But now Dart has given us the ability to use artificial intelligence, so we can hit the brainstorm button. And in here, what is the subject? What are we going to be talking about? What do we need to break down into tasks? So we're going to use AI to do that. And we're going to give it a time limit of 10 minutes. And what are we going to put in the subject field? We're going to put what Grok gives us. Okay, cool. So we're back in Grok. And because there's a limit on how much we can actually put in the subject field on Dart AI, what we're going to ask for, what we would usually ask for is, can you give us the prompt that we can put into Lovable? Then Lovable is going to take that. It's going to create us our first version of a no-code application, of the application. And then we're going to sit there going, okay, now what? How do we iterate? So we want to obviously have those specific tasks that we can execute. And we're going to do that by saying to Grok, amazing, this is really great. Could you give me a paragraph detailing the application, the idea, specifics about it so that I can basically place this into Dart AI. Keep it concise, keep it short, and to the point. Cool. In order to do that, we're going to toggle our think or capability on Grok, and then we're going to say execute. So now it's going to think, so it's not keeping that deep research functionality because we want to keep it short and sweet, but we're going to take in all the information we've built up using Grok into that think functionality now. Cool. So here you go. Here's a concise paragraph. Here's the application summary, and literally we're going to go and take that as it currently sits. We're going to copy that in. We're going to go to the subject field here. We're going to paste that straight in, and we're going to say start brainstorming. And now for 10 minutes, what's it going to do? It's going to do what you can see on screen right now is, and I'm not doing anything. AI is analyzing what we've given it, and it's breaking it down into specific tasks. So you see there's task number 2 that's just come up, and we can start having a look at what they are saying. So for example, create push notification system to alert users of unusual spending patterns, design onboarding tutorial to guide new users through the main app features. So it's picking up all of these aspects, right? And what it's going to also do is it's going to see, okay, what's a priority? What's the chronological order it needs to run in? All of this is dealt with Dart, and all of these aspects are free from what Dart offer, which I completely love. From a product management point of view, which I am in the AI space, something like this is pretty insane. Cool, so we've got another one here, develop in-app dashboard to visualize monthly income, expenses, saving trends, implement customizable spending categories with color coding and icon selection options. So you can see it's really specific, right? And if we had to actually open up one of these, you can see we can actually go ahead and we can basically break it down into subtasks if we wanted to. If it's too broad, we can add different tags, we can assign different people to this, and we can add a description. We can do all of that using artificial intelligence, as well as we could write it ourselves. So in terms of, for example, the description, what we could do is we could literally hit the / on our keyboard, right? And here you can say, you can ask AI to write a description for you, brainstorm methods in order to do that, because it's picked up you're looking to implement something. So what are the different methods? And if you want to break it down to subtasks. So what we'll need for Lovable is descriptions, right? So once we've got our ideas, or once we've got them ranked over here, we can then go ahead with the first execution point. And we can build out that description and then execute it. So I'm going to wait for the other 7 minutes, 40 seconds, and then we'll look at what we're sitting with, and we'll go ahead with the first task, and I'll show you how to execute it in Lovable. And then it's pretty much a rinse and repeat. Alrighty, so you can see all the tasks that were built out using Dart AI, which is pretty awesome. So for example, like add a dashboard widget to display real-time account balances and recent transactions. If you're just going straight to Lovable and you give it an initial prompt, it's up to you to think of those tasks. Here you've got each one. So the next thing we're going to do is we have to give this in order, right? So you want to come to Project AI in the top right corner, and we're going to go plan this project, right? And we're going to give it a date range. So for example, say we were running this for a 2-week project from tomorrow. So we've got 1, 2, so we're going to run it for 2 weeks. Cool. And the assignees, we can only assign myself, which is going to, that's the only person working on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and say start planning, right? So there you go. Now, if we switch our view from list to calendar, roadmap, sorry, you will see it started to plan out all of these tasks. So it's now ranked our tasks, and it said what we needed to do first, right? What is our priority, and what do we need to do next, and so forth, in order to accomplish this in 2 weeks. You can actually see it went over the 2 weeks, because obviously it says it's impossible to do all these tasks in 2 weeks, which is pretty cool. Cool, so let's go to our first task here, which is our dashboard, and navigate back to our list view. And we're going to come through, so you can see this is due tomorrow. So we've already got a date on that, an assignee, and then we can change the status once we're done. So let's open this up. Let's go to description, and let us use AI to build up this description, like I said earlier. So we're going to do / and we're going to say write a description. So I'm going to ask AI to write the description for us. All right, so here you go. So now what do you want to do? We're going to go to Lovable. We're going to start Lovable up. So let's go to the dashboard. And this is our dashboard for Lovable, no code AI builder. What you want to do is you want to come through to Dart AI, and we're going to copy the title as well as the description, right? So now, before that, what I want to do is above that, I just want to say, I am building out a personal finance and budget tracking application. Below is the first task to execute. I will then give you more tasks to execute. Let's go. And there we go. So let's do that. And we just click enter, and Lovable is on its way to building out our first initial task. So once that's done, we'll come back and we'll look at our second task. Our second task is allow users to attach receipts and notes to transactions for easier record keeping. And we'll let you go task by task through our application in order to build it out. It makes it super simple for us. It takes away the headache of trying to think through different features. And by the time we get to the end of this last task, you'll probably have an MVP or something a little bit better. So we'll go through a couple of these and I'll show you how they work. And then you can just implement it the same for yourself. Quickly hopping in here, guys, to give you another way you can do this. You can go ahead to new task, for example, and you can actually put in the task, which is equivalent to the prompt you'll put into Lovable. So for example, we could put in build a SaaS app for personal finance tracker, create that task, and then we can head to that task, use Task AI to go ahead and break it into subtasks. And we can use artificial intelligence to break it up into subtasks. That's also another way you can go about doing this. Also, one other thing, instead of going to, for example, the description and putting in the / to bring up your AI specific executions that you can perform, you can just go to the Task AI button over here, and that gives you all your AI options, right? Fill out properties, break into subtasks, write description, or do this task, and you can instruct the AI to execute those. So just keep that in mind, the Task AI button. Anything purple is pretty much AI driven. Just keep that in mind. So back into Lovable, it's called our application Budget Blitz widget, which is okay. And now you can see Lovable says, I'm excited to help you build your finance budget tracking application. Let's start with creating the dashboard. The design is, so forth, a clean modern interface with a card-based layout. I'm using the following color palette, and it gives us our soft purples and different hexadecimals for the actual colors. So we'll see what that looks like. I think purple's pretty cool, so that's decent. And there we go. Then it says, what's next? Refine and customize, master prompting, GitHub sync, so forth, so forth. We know what we want to do. And there we go. This is the starting point for our proof of concept. This is our dashboard, which has our accounts, recent transactions, and that is all we need. So it's not added extra buttons that we don't want to use and all these different aspects. It's just exactly what we need. So cool. We can come through to our task over here. We can say keep that. And then what we can do here is we can go ahead. If we just go to the side, we can go status. We can say done. Boom. That one is completely done. We can go to our next task. Our next task, again, we want to build that out with AI. So let's write the description. So that is our title. Let's copy that. Let's go to Lovable and we say, great, here's the next task. Cool. And then we're going to just paste the title of our task over here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that there. And we're going to copy out the description that it gives us right over there. And we're going to paste that there and we're going to click enter. So now Lovable is going to go ahead to move into building out our next task, which is the feature that allows us to attach receipts, be them in, you can see here, image or PDF files, provide a text field labeled add notes where users can add that information. And once it's added that to our application, you can go through it. And obviously from a data AI perspective, because that's the main brain and driver here, is you can go through each of these tasks beforehand, agree on it with your team or your client, the person you're building this out for. You can say, hey, listen, here's your roadmap. Here's the tasks we're going to execute, the features we're going to build. Are you happy with that? They can sign it off. You can maybe charge them per feature. It allows you to have a lot more hands-on when it comes to building out software rather than I'm just going to vibe code something and you just sit there kind of prompting it into an oblivion and you don't even know when you actually finish. Because once you get to the end of all these tasks, you'll have something and then you can go ahead and say, okay, what do we need to iterate? What do we need to finish building? So it just keeps you completely in check. So here you go. I'll implement the feature to allow users to attach receipts and add notes. Okay, cool. So that is saved and you can see here we now have the ability to, we have this little paperclip. If we click on that, we can add notes and we can actually go ahead and choose a file and upload it. So let's just take that screenshot there. You can see transaction updated successfully. We can add notes over here, so maybe weekly grocery shopping, and we can exit out of that. And there you go, receipt is attached. And they've obviously added in some examples here, but that just shows you how you can go about adding each of these tasks. Another quick tip is when you look at the roadmap and you've used AI to break down the tasks into a roadmap and you'll be able to then see how long it will take you to execute. You can then go ahead and actually go through each of these tasks that AI has kind of come up for you with, for example, your application, and you can kind of go through it with your team and to see what will fall into your kind of proof of concept, your initial idea of an MVP, and then your final product, and maybe just, refine and reiterate through doing that process. And there we go. That is the video. I really hope it was helpful. Obviously, you can carry on building this out to make it look stunning, and you can add in other components from like UI component libraries like CodePen or 21st.dev. And obviously you can really iterate to make it into a fully fledged product. That's not supposed to be a fully fledged app just yet, but with these tasks that we have from Dart that were all, they all came about from what we prompted it with a proper good prompt from Grok, the driving force on building out this application. And you can do this to any application you want to build out. So if you have an idea in mind, you want to flesh that out, you want to create those different tasks and features using Dart AI, you can, and then you can execute those with Lovable or any no-code builder for that matter. So yeah, I really hope it was helpful. And if it was, one thing I'll ask, if you'll like and subscribe, it does amazing things for the channel when you do. And other than that, I will see you in the next video. Cheers.